Okay, starting on my tutorial to show you how to improve your smithing, your enchanting, and overall effectiveness at this game if you choose to be the mage. However, this does not need to apply only to the mage. For this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to improve your smithing using iron daggers and leather bracers. Main reason I'm going to be looking at these two is mainly because they actually are the ones that cost the less amount of raw materials to get started on. Iron daggers being one iron ore and one piece of leather strip, while leather bracers are one piece of leather and two leather strips. As far as smithing goes, it does not really matter which piece of equipment you make, as long as you actually make a piece of equipment. The same can be said for enchanting. So in essence, what we're going to be doing is basically spamming iron daggers and leather bracers to increase your effectiveness as a smith, weapon forger person, however you want to say it. For me though, it's already at level 100, so I can't really show you the progress that you're going to be making. But either way, I'm just going to go ahead and show you a couple of things that you can actually do within the forge. So I just made 2 iron daggers and 2 iron bracers. And what I'm also going to be showing you as far as this tutorial goes is how to improve your effectiveness of a weapon, armor, or any piece of equipment that you can actually make in the forge using enchantments. Meaning you can actually enchant pieces of gear to help you with this kind of situation, or this kind of task, if you would. Just to show you guys real quick, this leather bracer that I just made, I can actually improve to a legendary status, which is the highest grade equipment that you can actually make in the smithing workshop. So as you can see, it goes all the way to legendary, whereas if you just had 100 or basically just any kind of levels, just 100% smithing skill or any kind of smithing skill, it wouldn't exactly be legendary. It'd be a different kind. And just to show you guys real quick, I'm just going to go ahead and take off my equipment that I have on me, just to show you the difference between what kind of equipment you can make when you have enchanted gear on and when you don't. You can also use potions actually. So if you have a potion that gives you a 50% bonus, 30% bonus of to your smithing quality, I would suggest using that when you're trying to make your final pieces of equipment. That way you can actually get the most out of the equipment that you're going to be using. So as you can see, the leather bracer actually goes to flawless, which basically is just my raw 100% smithing skill. So once I put all my equipment back on, it should boost it up to 104%, which even though the leather bracer by itself should only go to flawless, it will actually go to legendary, which as I mentioned earlier, is the highest grade of equipment that you can actually get. This isn't that apparent in lower grade pieces of equipment, but it becomes ever so when you actually are at the level of dragon armor, which I actually forgot to bring with me. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to my house and this next cutscene, if you would, and show you the difference. Now back in my house, I actually have different pieces of equipment. As you can see, the difference between my armor rating and my helmet when I just had the 100 smithing skill, and when I actually had like enchanted gear and a potion, it's a little bit of a big difference, if you would, which is kind of weird phrasing on my part, but it actually gets your armor rating to a pretty good amount of pretty good amount. Just to show you guys that you can actually make any piece of equipment like this, not just dragon. Now enchanting in itself is actually one of my favorite things to do in this game. So you can see most of the equipment is already enchanted, and for this tutorial we're actually going to show you how to make money off enchanting and what to do with your enchanted weapons, which ones to sell, which ones make the most money, what kind of enchantments will actually work for your class. So I'm just going to go ahead and go to the podium real quick. Just a quick run through of enchanting. Disenchanting will basically be like the main thing that you're going to be using. If you find a new piece of equipment, like either one that has fire damage, you can actually learn that enchantment. And as I mentioned earlier, Banish, which is one of the ones that I already know, will actually give you the most money for any piece of gear that you can actually enchant with. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a Banish on this one, and as you can see, the cost goes up substantially to just the few that it was when I actually made this piece. And I'm going to be using the Petty Soul Gem, basically just since it's the cheapest, and basically I can make those real fast, and it doesn't really cost me that much to make, and it actually goes towards my overall progress of my enchanting skill. I can put 2 enchantments on my weapons, so I'm just going through them real fast to show you what the difference is between each enchantment that will give me more money, which one will give me less money. I also want to point out a couple things just before we get started. Um, for any of these errands or any of these kind of skills that you can actually want to level up, I would strongly suggest actually going and finding the Lubber Stone, which gives you an added 15% better, not better, but it'll help you out basically by increasing how fast your skills to level up all your skills by 15%. So that'll actually help out your smithing and your enchanting. And if you ever run low on soul gems, you can actually buy from the NPC that's usually in this room, which will give you an endless supply if you would, which will basically help out in conjuration and your enchanting, which will really help you out and make your final gear. Now I do want to point out a couple things that I myself have. I basically chose to go destruction mage and then conjuration, basically just work my way through the ranks. So you can see some of my costs of my spells are actually pretty higher than the other ones, mainly because I don't have my gear instead as I normally do. But as far as leveling up said schools of magic go, normally the higher the grade of your spell is, the faster it'll level you up. So it used to be that I used to cast Firebolt a lot, which is basically would stun the enemy, did a pretty decent amount of damage, but it would take forever to actually get my skill past a certain amount. So once I made a different set of gear that basically brought my mana cost down, that can actually spam other spells, I went with Incinerate, which is the highest grade without having to go master for fire spells, and that actually leveled up my destruction really fast. So it's just something I want to throw out there. As you can see, most of my gear actually has magic, some kind of magic bonus on it. The main thing I actually wanted to go after was lowering the cost of my spells. So not only would I have extra magic for, say, my restoration when I'm actually using destruction, I can actually cast destruction level spells at zero cost, which basically allow me to spam all my spells and keep stunning enemies. It's a pretty cheap tactic, but when your back is against the wall, against a dragon or something, or any kind of endless amounts of enemies, or if you really want just to have a lot of fun with this game and still be pretty legit without having to do glitches and stuff like that, it's still a pretty fun tactic actually. So just showcasing that again, I want to point that out, and it's not necessarily bound to destruction as long as you have the enchantment for any school or any kind of even one-handed weapons. If you so choose to be like a melee kind of warrior, if you enchant your gear with one-handed bonuses, it'll actually give you a big difference in the strength of your sword. So not only will you be doing more damage, you can actually choose how you want to do more damage. If you want to be a warrior, look for pieces of equipment that can actually support your fortified one-handed, which would be like your bracers, gauntlets, whatever you want to call them, your boots, your shoes, whatever you want to call them as well. And in particular, I think it's also necklaces and rings, though I'm not 100% sure if rings will actually be one of those, but double check that for me and see if it works out. Just mess around with it for a while and see what exactly will work out best for you. As you can see, I have some things that are 100 already. Enchantment is one of my favorite ones. Smithing, a friend helped me out by telling me a couple of things on it. And then my light armor was actually one of the main things that I wanted to get to, which basically I'll show you how to do that in a different tutorial actually. Oh, yeah, different tutorial.
It's no fun getting pushed around.
Okay, so I left off kind of weird at the last one, so I'm just start over again. How to increase your armor rating and your overall effectiveness with armor. Basically what I did for my pieces of equipment was basically just go to a giant once I had my dragon armor and just let them hit me a couple of times, and at the same time cast healing magic. That way I can actually take damage without going overboard and almost dying with it. So that's just one of the things that you can do. It's not necessarily light armor that you can do this with, but like heavy armor if you wanted to. Just as long as you keep your health to like pretty good amount, that way you're not automatically dead next time he hits you. You can actually combine this with decreasing the cost of casting your restoration skills. So just keep that in mind, and it's really good. I'm not sure if I covered this as well in the other books over there right now, but those pieces of equipment, the iron daggers and bracers and whatever you enchant, you can actually sell for a pretty good profit. And just keep buying iron ore, like raw materials, which instead of spending like 3-4 hours or countless days with your smithing skill, you can actually get over real fast. Equipped with the lady, or I think it's the lady stone, which basically increases your effectiveness of how fast you level your skills by 15%. That actually helps out a lot. I cannot express that enough. So just hit me up if you want to see more of these kind of videos. I do apologize for seeming a little bit nervous. This is more like an impromptu kind of tutorial since I didn't bother to write a script. So if I stutter a lot, just let me know if you have any questions or anything like that, and I'll be glad to help you out. Peace out.